The conference room felt colder than usual. Maybe it was just me. The glass walls made it impossible to hide from the stairs outside. My name was still on the door, but not for long. Sophia sat across the table, her expression unreadable. Her fingers tapped lightly against the folder in front of her. Nathan stood beside her, pretending to check his phone. "Sophia," I said quietly, "what's this about?" She didn't meet my eyes. "Ethan, let's keep this professional." "Professional?" I forced a laugh. "You called me in early, no warning, and you've got Nathan standing here like security." "What's going on?" Nathan finally looked up. "You know exactly what this is." "I don't," I snapped. "I've given everything to this company." "To you both," Sophia exhaled. "Ethan, we've decided to terminate your employment, effective immediately." The words hit like a gunshot. "Terminate? What? For what reason?" She slid the folder toward me. "Performance inconsistencies. A lack of leadership initiative. It's all documented." I stared at the papers but didn't touch them. "You mean lies?" "Ethan," she said, tone softening, "please don't make this harder." "Harder?" I leaned forward. "You're firing me after everything we've built together? After everything I've done for you?" Nathan's smirk grew. "You really thought loyalty was a business strategy?" I clenched my fists. "You're enjoying this, aren't you?" "Ethan!" Sophia interrupted, voice firm now. "This is final." "Final?" My chest tightened. "Sophia, you said you believed in me." I said a lot of things," she cut in, her tone sharp as glass. "But business comes first." "Business," I repeated. "Is that what you call what we had?" Nathan shifted. "Come on, man, don't make a scene." "A scene?" I laughed bitterly. "You slept with her, didn't you?" Sophia's face froze. Nathan's smirk vanished. Silence filled the room thick enough to choke on. "You don't know what you're talking about," she whispered. "I know enough," I said, standing. "You could have just ended things like a human being. Instead, you humiliated me in front of everyone." "Ethan, please sit down." "No," I said. "I'm done sitting for you," Nathan muttered. Pathetic. I turned to him. "You'll regret this." Sophia's voice trembled slightly, though she tried to keep it steady. "Security will escort you out." I looked at her one last time. Her eyes used to be warm, full of light and laughter. Now they were glass, cold, reflective, empty. "You're better at pretending than I ever realized." She looked away. "Goodbye, Ethan." I walked out before my voice could break. The hallway buzzed with whispers. My team, people I'd trained, helped, laughed with, pretended not to see me. I could feel their eyes on my back as I packed my desk. My hands shook as I placed the few things I had into a box. The engagement ring in my pocket felt heavier with every heartbeat. "Rough day, huh?" Jake from accounting murmured, too loud to be kind. I ignored him. Clara, one of the newer interns, whispered, "Mr. Cole, are you really leaving?" "Yeah," I said quietly. "Seems like it," she frowned. "But you're the one who kept this place running." "Not anymore." I forced a smile. "Take care of yourself, Clara." When I reached the elevator, I turned one last time. Sophia stood at the end of the hallway watching. She didn't move. She didn't even blink. The elevator doors closed between us with a soft ding. That sound haunted me all the way home. My apartment felt smaller that night. The walls pressed closer. The city lights outside looked like 1,000 tiny eyes judging me. I sat at the window, staring at my reflection. Tired, lost, broken. My phone buzzed. A message from Nathan. "Nothing personal, man. Just business." I threw the phone across the room. It cracked against the wall and fell silent. Then came another message. "Sophia, I hope you understand someday. This was necessary. The word twisted like a knife. I grabbed the ring box from my jacket and opened it. The silver band glimmered under the streetlight. "Guess it's not your size anymore," I muttered. For a long time, I said nothing. Just listened to the city hum. Every moment of my life had revolved around her. Every dream, every plan. And in one morning, she'd erased it all. I thought about walking away from everything, changing my name, leaving the city. But somewhere beneath the pain, a spark burned. She thought I'd disappear. She thought firing me would break me. I whispered into the quiet room. "If they wanted me gone, they'll remember my name one day." The city didn't answer, but I didn't need it to. I already knew what I had to do. I turned off the lights, sat down at my desk, and opened my laptop. My hands still shook, but the fear was gone. I started typing, plans, ideas, anything to keep from falling apart. Outside, thunder rolled in the distance. Rain hit the glass like applause, the same rain that soaked me the day I met her, the same rain that would one day wash away every trace of what she did to me. And as the storm grew louder, I smiled for the first time that night, because I knew this wasn't the end, it was the beginning. The days blurred together. I stopped checking the calendar after the first week. Each morning I woke up hoping for an email, a message, anything. Nothing came. When I called old coworkers, they either didn't pick up or pretended the line was bad. Ethan? One finally answered after the third try. Hey, I can't talk right now. It's complicated. Complicated? I asked. Or are you afraid Sophia will find out? Silence, then a click. I laughed bitterly. Right. Loyalty's expensive these days. Even job interviews went nowhere. I'd walk in confident, resume spotless, only for the interviewer's smile to fade halfway through. We appreciate your interest, Mr. Cole, but unfortunately, the position's been filled. Every time, the same excuse. Every time, the same polite rejection. By the third week, I knew. Sophia had blacklisted me. Nathan probably helped. One night, after pawning my watch and selling my car, I sat in my empty apartment surrounded by silence. The city lights blinked through the blinds like they were mocking me. I spoke to the dark. You took everything, Sophia. Congratulations. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Heard what happened. Should have seen it coming. No name, but I knew it was Nathan. I blocked him without replying. The fridge was empty, the rent overdue, and I was out of pride. So I walked. Rain started halfway down Main Street. I didn't care. The water soaked through my jacket, cold enough to sting, but it felt honest. Everything else lately had been fake. I stopped outside a small diner, the same one we used to visit after long nights at work. The smell of coffee drifted out the door. I couldn't afford a cup, so I just sat on the curb and watched people pass. The neon sign buzzed overhead, flickering red and white. My reflection in the puddle looked like someone else entirely. Ethan? I turned. Clara stood under an umbrella, eyes wide. Her hair was damp, her coat half-buttoned. Hey, I said weakly. Didn't expect to see anyone I know still talking to me. She stepped closer. You look awful. Thanks. I was going for that. Have you eaten? I've had water. Counts, right? She sighed and motioned toward the diner. Come inside. My treat. I'm fine here. No, you're not. She grabbed my arm. Move. The warmth of the diner hit like a wave. The waitress gave me a look, but Clara smiled and ordered 2 coffees and pie. I muttered, You don't have to... Shut up and drink. She slid the cup toward me. The first sip burned my tongue. I didn't care. So, she said after a pause, they really did it, huh? They did. And the rumors? All lies. Said I stole company data. No one's hiring me now, she frowned. Sophia's idea? Probably. Nathan was there too, of course. Guess he's finally the hero in her story. Clara stirred her coffee slowly. You know, I used to look up to her. Now I just feel sorry for her. Don't, I said. She's doing fine. She got what she wanted. Maybe. But you're still here. Barely. She leaned forward. Then start again, I laughed. Start what? I can't even get a part-time job. You don't need them, she said firmly. Build something of your own. You have the brains for it. You just forgot. Her words hit harder than I expected. You think it's that easy? No, I think it's that necessary. I looked at her for a long moment. You really believe I can come back from this? She smiled softly. I wouldn't be sitting here in the rain with you if I didn't. We sat in silence after that. Just the sound of the rain hitting the window and the clatter of dishes in the background. When she left, she pressed a few napkins into my hand. In case you want to write something down. Ideas, plans, whatever. Clara, don't thank me yet. Just do something. She disappeared into the rain before I could answer. I looked down at the napkins, then at the empty cup. My reflection in the black coffee looked like a stranger trying to remember his own name. I pulled out a pen from my pocket and started sketching lines. A simple idea. A way to help small businesses with digital systems. Something I'd dreamed of years ago but never had the courage to try. The ink smeared where the rain hit it. But I didn't stop. For the first time in weeks, my hands shook from something other than anger. By the time the waitress came to clear the table, the napkin was filled with words and arrows. "Working on something?" she asked. "Yeah," I said quietly. "Maybe a new beginning." I stepped back into the night, the rain heavier now. It soaked through everything. My jacket. My shoes, my doubts, I whispered to the storm. The rain washed away the last trace of who I was. And as thunder rolled in the distance, I realized I wasn't afraid anymore. I didn't have money. I didn't have friends. But I had a plan, and that was enough to start again. When Clara called, I almost didn't pick up. "Ethan, meet me at the cafe on 5th. There's someone you need to talk to," she said before I could refuse. I arrived late, half expecting another pity conversation. Instead, she sat across from an older man in a sharp gray suit. His presence filled the room, not loud, just commanding. "Ethan Cole," Clara said, standing. "This is Mr. Donovan." He extended his hand. "I've heard your name before." Not all of it flattering, I shook it. "That's an understatement," he smiled faintly. "Good, I like people who've been broken. They stop pretending to be perfect," I frowned. "You make that sound like a business model." "For me, it is. I invest in underdogs, people who've lost everything but still show up." Clara leaned forward. "Ethan's got ideas, Mr. Donovan. He just needs someone to believe in him." "Belief is cheap," Donovan said. "Execution is what matters. So Ethan, what do you want to build?" I hesitated, pulling out one of the diner napkins. "Something simple. A consulting startup for small businesses, helping them use tech without drowning in it." He studied the napkin, then me. "You've got notes on paper and desperation in your eyes. That's a good mix. How much do you need?" "Enough to breathe," I said. He chuckled. "I'll give you seed money on one condition. You find a partner who'll keep you honest." "Deal," I said before I could think. After he left, Clara grinned. "You're insane." "Maybe," I said, staring at the napkin. "But for once, it feels like a good kind of insane." I found Lucas 2 days later in a co-working space. He was bent over his laptop, headphones on, typing like the world depended on it. "Still hacking your way through life?" I asked. He looked up. "Ethan? Thought you vanished." I almost did. "Got time to hear a crazy plan?" He raised an eyebrow. "How crazy?" "Startup crazy," he leaned back. "You? The guy who swore off startups after Sophia?" "Yeah, I'm done playing for other people. Time to build something real." "What's the catch?" "I've got an investor. But I need someone who won't let me self-destruct," he smirked. "So you called me. You were my second choice." He laughed. "I'll take it. When do we start?" "Tonight." The first few weeks were brutal. We worked out of a borrowed office that smelled like old coffee and burnt circuits. Some nights we slept there, surrounded by whiteboards and pizza boxes. Lucas would glance up from his screen and say, "You realize we're one bug away from bankruptcy?" "Better than being one rumor away," I replied. Clients didn't come easy. Most hung up after hearing my name. But one small bakery took a chance. We helped them build an online ordering system, and suddenly other shops started calling. One deal turned into two into five. Lucas clapped me on the shoulder one night. "Told you, man. Underdogs bite harder," I smiled. "Guess Mr. Donovan knew what he was doing." He grinned. Clara too. At the mention of her name, something warm settled in my chest. Yeah, she saw something I didn't. As months passed, we hired 2 interns, then a designer, then a data analyst. The office buzzed with life again. But this time, it wasn't fear that drove us, it was trust. One night, as everyone left, Lucas lingered by the door. "You ever think about them? Who?" "Nathan, Sophia, the people who buried you." I stared at the glowing monitors. "Every day. But not like before? How's that?" "Before I wanted revenge. Now I just want to win," he nodded. "That's still revenge, just cleaner." I laughed softly. "Maybe." Later that week, I stayed late scrolling through industry news. My name wasn't there yet, but Sophia's was. Varen Technologies loses major investors amid data scandal. The headline hit like a spark in dry wood. I clicked the article, reading every word. Whistleblowers, lawsuits, unethical leadership. The same words they'd once used against me. Lucas appeared behind me with 2 coffees. "What's got you smiling?" I turned the screen toward him. He whistled. "Well, karma's got good timing." "She always does," I said quietly. "Feel good?" I paused. Yeah, but not the way I thought it would. How's that? I thought I'd want to watch her burn. But honestly, I'm just glad I'm not standing next to her anymore. Lucas grinned. You've grown soft. Maybe. Or maybe I finally learned what leadership isn't. He raised his cup. To what leadership is, then? I clinked mine against his. To trust over fear. We drank in silence, the glow of our monitors reflecting in the windows. For the first time in months, the city outside didn't feel like a threat. It felt like possibility. As I packed up for the night, I caught my reflection in the glass, no longer broken. Just rebuilding, the spark had become fire. Reed Corp? Lucas repeated, staring at the email on my screen. You're kidding! I leaned back in my chair, the logo glaring up at me. Wish I was. They want to discuss a partnership proposal. Their analytics wing's collapsing, they're reaching out for help. He gave a low whistle. That's her company. Yeah, I said quietly. Sophia Reed, CEO. Are you sure you want this meeting? I didn't ask for it, I said. But I'm not turning it down. He studied me. You're too calm. That's scary. I've waited 2 years to be this calm. The Reed Corp tower hadn't changed. Still glass, still proud, still pretending it was untouchable. I stepped through the lobby, my reflection caught in every surface. No security guard recognized me. Back then I was an employee. Now I was a CEO, the receptionist smiled. Good afternoon. You're here for the partnership review? Yes, I said. Ethan Cole, next rise. She checked the list. Conference room 14. Ms. Reed will join you shortly. Her name hit like a dull echo. Ms. Reed, not Sophia. Not anymore. Lucas adjusted his tie beside me. Want me to lead? No, I said. This one's mine. The room smelled like expensive polish and control, the kind of place where betrayal feels routine. I set up the slides, heart steady but sharp. The door opened. Apologies for the delay, a familiar voice said. Traffic was then silence. I didn't look up right away. I let her feel it first, the weight of memory. When I finally turned, our eyes locked. Sophia froze. Her pen slipped from her fingers. Ethan? I smiled, polite, professional. Ms. Reed, good to see you again. Her lips parted, no words coming out. Nathan wasn't with her this time. Just a few junior managers shifting uncomfortably. You're with Next Rise? She finally said. I am Next Rise, I replied evenly. We're here to discuss a potential collaboration. Her eyes flicked to the logo on the screen, then back to me. I wasn't aware. That's fine, I said. We'll focus on the numbers. I began the presentation. My voice stayed steady, my gestures precise. I spoke about growth metrics, integration models, ROI projections. Each slide was a quiet blade. Sophia listened, stiff, nodding at all the right moments, but I saw the tremor in her fingers. When I finished, she cleared her throat. Impressive. You've built quite the empire, Ethan. Not an empire, I said. Just a company that treats people better than I was treated. Her expression faltered. You've done well for yourself. So have you, I said lightly. Though I did read about your investor shakeup last year. Rough quarter? Her smile tightened. Temporary setback. We've stabilized. Glad to hear it. Lucas jumped in, asking technical questions, giving her a chance to recover. I let them talk, watching her every micro-expression. She tried to stay composed, but her confidence cracked whenever I spoke. At one point, she interrupted Lucas. Ethan, could I speak with you privately after this? I met her gaze. If it's about business, sure. Her jaw tightened. Of course. When the others left, the silence thickened. Sophia stood by the window, arms folded. You look different. So do you, I said. Less certain, she turned. I didn't expect to ever see you again. Neither did I. But the market has a sense of humor. She exhaled. You think I wanted what happened? That day wasn't necessary? I cut in. Because it was. You needed to rise, and I was in the way. Her eyes glistened. It wasn't like that. Then how was it? She hesitated. I made a choice. You would have done the same. I laughed softly. No, Sophia. I would have fought for the people who believed in me, not sacrificed them for a headline. She looked away. You've changed. I had to. You made sure of it. The tension hung like smoke. I could almost hear my heartbeat against the glass walls. She finally said, Do you hate me? I met her eyes. I don't have time to. Her breath caught. So that's it? That's business, I said. You taught me that, remember? I gathered my laptop, slipping it into my bag. If ReadCorp accepts our proposal, we'll send over the terms by Friday. Ethan. I stopped at the door. Yes? Her voice cracked slightly. You've built something incredible. I'm proud of you. I turned back, just enough to meet her gaze. You don't get to be proud of me anymore. The color drained from her face. I opened the door, pausing for a heartbeat. But thank you for the lesson. Then I walked out. In the elevator, Lucas grinned. Well, how'd it feel? I exhaled slowly. Like closing a chapter. He nudged me. You didn't gloat. I'm impressed. Oh, I did, I said. Just not out loud. We stepped into the lobby, the sunlight spilling across the marble floors. For the first time, I realized I didn't need revenge. I already had it. Success had spoken louder than any apology ever could. Still, as the doors closed behind me, I whispered under my breath, "Let her remember my name." The first email came with a polite subject line, "Follow up on partnership terms." But the message underneath wasn't about business. "Can we talk privately, Ethan? I owe you that much." Sophia, I stared at the screen, jaw tight. 2 years ago, I would have answered instantly. Now I just typed, "Strictly business." 2 days later, she showed up at my office anyway. Still persistent, Lucas murmured. She always was, I said, straightening my jacket. Let her in. She entered, looking smaller somehow. You've redecorated, she said softly. Different place. Different man, I replied. Why are you here, Sophia? Her fingers tightened around her purse. To apologize, I almost laughed. Now you believe in closure? I made mistakes, she said, voice trembling. I thought I was protecting my career. By destroying mine? Her eyes glistened. You don't understand what it's like up there. Everyone's waiting for you to fall. Nathan told me, don't, I interrupted. Don't blame him. You signed the papers. You fired me. You lied, she flinched. You think I haven't paid for it? Not enough, I said. The silence stretched. Her perfume was the same. It dragged memories I didn't want. She whispered, Can't we start over? I leaned back. You want partnership? Earn it. But don't ever use my name to fix your guilt. Her eyes flickered with something between pain and pride. You've changed. I had to. She opened her mouth, then stopped, nodding once before walking out. Lucas entered seconds later. That looked brutal. It was overdue, I said quietly. That night, I found Nathan waiting by my car. He looked thinner, desperate, suit wrinkled. Ethan, he said, voice low. I need a minute. I'm not your priest, Nathan. He stepped closer. You don't get it. I lost everything. Sophia cut me off after the scandal. I'm broke. I folded my arms. Poetic. I didn't mean for it to go that far, he said quickly. She used me. I swear I tried to warn you. Warn me? I scoffed. You stood beside her while she humiliated me. His face twisted. I was scared. You'd have done the same. No, I said sharply. I would have chosen loyalty over comfort. That's the difference between us, he swallowed. I need help. A reference, maybe a small consulting role. Stop, I said. You used me once. Never again, his voice cracked. Ethan, please, you'll watch me rise, I said coldly, and remember this conversation every time you fall. I got in my car. He was still standing there when I drove away. By the next week, rumors about ReadCorp filled every corner of the industry. Missing funds, internal conflicts, falsified reports. Karma didn't knock. It stormed the door. Lucas dropped a folder on my desk. It's official. 2 of their investors just withdrew. Good, I said. Let them rot, he hesitated. You're smiling. I'm remembering. Then came the unexpected visitor. Mr. Cole? The receptionist said through the intercom. And Olivia Reed is here to see you. My heart paused. Send her in. Sophia's younger sister walked in with quiet confidence, eyes full of something that wasn't fear. You don't know me well, she said, but I know what my sister did to you. I gestured to the chair. Sit and tell me why you're here. She sat, clutching a thin envelope. Because you deserve the truth. Sophia didn't just fire you. She faked documents, emails, audit logs, everything, to make it look like you leaked data. I stared at her. She what? She wanted your position, Olivia said. Nathan helped her. They deleted the real audit trail before the board meeting. The air in the room felt sharp. You're sure? She slid the envelope across the table. Copies of what I found in her old drive. I couldn't stay silent anymore. I opened it. My name, time-stamped messages, her forged approvals. It was all there. Proof. Why tell me this now? I asked. Because she's falling apart, Olivia said softly, and she keeps pretending she's sorry. But I see her every night. She's scared you'll find out. I want you to have peace, not revenge. I looked at the papers again. Peace doesn't come from lies. She loved you once, she whispered. I met her gaze. Then she shouldn't have buried me alive. Olivia stood. What will you do? I exhaled slowly. What she never expected, I'll win without becoming her. She smiled faintly. Then maybe there's hope for both of you. After she left, I sat alone, staring at the evidence. My reflection glared back from the laptop screen. Lucas knocked. You okay? I didn't answer right away. How do you forgive someone who never asked for forgiveness? He shrugged. You don't. You just move so far ahead they can't touch you. I nodded slowly. Yeah, maybe that's the real justice. I looked at the city lights outside. Bright, indifferent, endless. Somewhere out there, Sophia was still wearing her mask, waiting for mercy that would never come. And me? I'd learned to breathe without her shadow. Lucas closed the door behind him, lowering his voice. It's done. The acquisition went through this morning. I looked up from my desk. All of it? He nodded. 51%. Through 3 holding firms. No one suspects a thing. I leaned back, exhaling slowly. Good. Keep it that way, he smirked. You realize what this means, right? You own Reed Corp now. I stared at the skyline outside my office window, the city lights flickering like old ghosts. No, I said quietly. I own my silence. The next few weeks were a lesson in patience. Reed Corp's stock slid quietly while NextRise thrived. I kept my distance. No interviews, no leaks, no boasts. Silence was my weapon, precision my armor. Then came the email I'd been waiting for. Board meeting, urgent financial review, attendance required. I clicked accept. Are you sure about this? Lucas asked as we rode the elevator. Yes. She's going to see you there, Ethan. That's the point. He glanced at me. You're calm. Too calm. I've been waiting 2 years for this meeting. Calm is the only thing left. The elevator dinged open. Reed Corp's boardroom was exactly as I remembered. Glass walls, gold fixtures, ambition painted across every inch. Sophia was already there, seated at the head of the table, her smile brittle. Mr. Cole, she said when I entered. I didn't expect NextRise to attend this review. I took my seat. Consider it a courtesy visit. She nodded politely, masking confusion. Fine, let's begin. As the meeting started, I said little. I watched. The finance director spoke first, stammering through declining revenue charts. Client retention dropped 20% this quarter, he said. Sophia's pen tapped the table. That's temporary. Our restructuring will stabilize us, another board member interrupted. Investors disagree. We've lost half our institutional backing. There's concern about leadership direction. Her eyes flicked around the room, defensive. Our partnerships are strong. Not all of them, I cut in. Every head turned toward me. Sophia frowned. Excuse me? I gestured toward the projector. Pull up the shareholder breakdown. The assistant hesitated, but complied. The chart appeared on the screen, colored slices shifting to reveal the truth. Lucas leaned forward. As of last quarter, a new major stakeholder emerged. They hold controlling interest now, Sophia blinked. Controlling? That's impossible. Who? I waited, silent, letting her voice rise with each syllable. The assistant scrolled. The shell company name filled the screen. EC Holdings. Sophia's voice trembled. Who is that? I smiled faintly. Take a guess, her face drained of color. Ethan, you... Yes, she exhaled shakily. You bought Reed Corp? Not directly, I said. I just made a few strategic investments. The room went dead quiet. You planned this, she whispered. No, I replied. You did. When you fired me... The chairman cleared his throat. Mr. Cole, are you implying you're now the majority owner? I'm not implying anything, I said evenly. It's a matter of record. Sophia's voice cracked. You can't do this. You don't understand what this company means to me. Oh, I do, I said. It meant everything to me once, too. Her eyes glistened. You're here for revenge. I met her gaze. I'm here for justice. She shook her head. Then say it. Say you want to destroy me. I leaned forward slightly. If I wanted to destroy you, I'd have done it years ago. I'm just here to watch you realize what you did to me. She went silent, staring at the table. The rest of the board watched her unravel. As the reports continued, I barely listened. Her once commanding voice had softened to murmurs. Her fingers trembled over each page. The same woman who'd stood above me, firing me in front of a crowd, now couldn't finish a sentence without glancing my way. Lucas whispered, "You could replace her today." I know. So why don't you? Because losing control slowly hurts more. He gave a low whistle. Cold. Efficient, I corrected. The meeting adjourned in uneasy silence. The board members filed out quickly, murmuring among themselves. Soon it was just us. Sophia finally spoke. You waited all this time just to humiliate me? No, I said. I waited to understand you. She stared at me, eyes red. Then what do you understand? That power means nothing without integrity, I said softly. And revenge means nothing if it makes me you. Her lip trembled. You still hate me, I shook my head. I don't, I outgrew you. She stepped closer, voice breaking. What happens now? Nothing dramatic, I said. You'll stay on for now. I won't fire you in public. I'll let you run this company under new ownership until you decide to walk away yourself. She blinked. That's cruel? No, I said. That's quiet. I walked to the window, looking down at the city where it all began. Rain started to fall, light and steady, streaking the glass like memory. She spoke behind me, voice faint. Was it worth it? I turned. Every drop. For a moment, neither of us spoke. The only sound was the rain, soft, relentless, cleansing. 2 years ago, I'd sat in this same tower, humiliated, broken, fired by the woman I loved. Now I stood above her, calm, collected, untouchable. Goodbye. Sophia, I said. She didn't answer. I walked out, each step echoing with quiet finality. As the elevator doors closed, I caught my reflection in the mirrored panel. No rage, no pride, just stillness. Revenge hadn't needed noise or spectacle. It needed patience because real revenge doesn't roar, it whispers. The air was still when I entered the office that morning. My office now. The same space where Sophia once sat, surrounded by glass walls and quiet arrogance. Today, the sunlight hit differently, cleaner, colder. The receptionist buzzed in. Sir, Ms. Reed is here to see you. Send her in. The door opened softly. She stepped inside, heels clicking, perfume faint but familiar. Her confidence faltered the instant she saw me behind the desk. You? She breathed. I didn't smile. Please sit. She didn't move. This is your office. It is. I gestured toward the chair again. Have a seat, Sophia. She hesitated, then lowered herself slowly. When did this happen? Last quarter. You must have missed the memo. Her fingers clenched around her purse. Why didn't anyone tell me? I leaned forward. Would it have changed anything? She swallowed. You could have told me yourself. You didn't tell me when you fired me, I said quietly. Her gaze dropped. That was different. No, I said. It was business. Just like today. I slid a folder across the desk. Her eyes darted to it. What's this? Your termination letter, she froze. You're firing me? Effective immediately. Her lips parted, trembling. Ethan, please, I waited. I never meant for things to go that far, she whispered. You have to believe me. I was under pressure, board, investors, everyone. I raised a hand. Stop, her voice broke. I was scared. I made a mistake. No, I said. You made a choice. Tears filled her eyes. I did what I thought I had to do. You destroyed my career to protect yours. Her jaw tightened. You think it was easy for me? You think I slept after that night? I don't care if you did, I said. I was the one who lost everything. I was trying to save the company. She cried, by sacrificing me. She leaned forward, desperate. I didn't want to lose you. The words hung between us like smoke. I stared at her, steady. You already did. She reached for my hand. Ethan, please, I can fix this. We can rebuild. There's nothing left to rebuild. Her shoulders slumped. You hate me, I shook my head. No, I just finally understand you. She blinked. Understand me? You don't love people. You use them. You used me, her voice cracked. That's not true. Then tell me, I said. When you looked me in the eyes that night and said, "You're done here," what did you feel? She looked away. I felt like I was saving us by ending me. She covered her face with trembling hands. I was wrong, Ethan. I know. For a moment, neither of us spoke. The sound of the clock ticking filled the silence between her sobs. Finally, she looked up. So this is it? You win? I folded my hands. No, there's no winning here. Just endings, her eyes glistened. You could have humiliated me publicly. Why didn't you? Because I remember how that feels. She flinched. I'm not here to make you beg, I said. You've already done that in your own way. Her voice dropped to a whisper. Then why this? Because you've been pretending for years, I said softly. I'm saving you from that. She stared at me, lost. Saving me? Yes, from pretending you're still in control. She stood slowly, voice shaking. You're cruel. No, I said. I'm calm. She looked around the office, the desk, the walls, the view that once belonged to her. Everything's changed. No, I said. Only the name on the door. She reached for the folder but didn't open it. You planned this. I prepared for it, I corrected. Her lips trembled. And now what happens to me? You'll move on, I said. Like I did. I don't think I can. You will, I said quietly. Just slower. She stared at me for a long time, then set the folder back down. I never wanted to hurt you. You just didn't care if you did. Her mouth opened, then closed again. She nodded faintly. Goodbye, Ethan. Goodbye, Sophia. She turned toward the door. For a moment, she hesitated, like she might say something else. Then she left. The latch clicked shut behind her. I leaned back in my chair, exhaling. The silence was complete. No victory, no thrill, just the soft weight of peace settling over the room. Outside, the city moved on without her. Without me too, once upon a time. I looked at the folder she'd left untouched, its edges still perfectly aligned. The same kind of letter she'd once handed me, her signature neat and cold. I'd thought that day defined me, but now I knew it only started me. Lucas appeared at the doorway. It's done? It's done. He studied my face. You don't look happy. I'm not supposed to be. He nodded slowly. So what now? Now? I stood, walking toward the window. Now I breathe. Rain began to fall, tracing thin lines down the glass, washing the city in silver. Lucas spoke behind me. You really didn't say anything cruel? No need, I said. She understood. He gave a small chuckle. You always said revenge doesn't need an audience. It doesn't, I said. It just needs closure. He left quietly. I stayed by the window a while longer, watching the rain blur the skyline. For the first time, there was no anger left, no ache, no echo. Just quiet. I thought of her face, the disbelief, the tears, the moment she realized it was over. I didn't feel triumphant, only free. Some wars end not with explosions, but with signatures. I turned off the lights and walked out, leaving the office in darkness. Behind me on the desk, the termination letter waited, unopened, unneeded. The circle was complete, and for the first time since the day she fired me, I felt peace. The rain had stopped hours ago, but the pavement outside still glistened under the streetlights. Same diner, same cracked neon sign, same smell of burnt coffee and fried hope. I stood at the door for a moment, watching the faint reflection of the man I'd become. Older, calmer, sharper. Then I walked in. Clara looked up from the booth by the window, her eyes warm, steady as always. You're late. I had a meeting run over, I said, sliding into the seat across from her. Old habits die hard, she smirked. You mean controlling every detail? Making sure it doesn't all fall apart, I said. Her gaze softened. You're not that man anymore. I'm not sure who I am, I admitted. The waitress poured coffee without asking. Steam rose between us like a ghost of the past. You remember the last time we were here? Clara asked. How could I forget, I said. It was raining harder than I'd ever seen. I was broke, bitter, and one bad thought away from giving up. She smiled faintly. And I brought you coffee. You brought me back, I corrected. For a moment, silence. Then she asked quietly, do you ever think about her? I stared at the window, watching drops race down the glass. Sometimes, but not like before. How then? Like a chapter I've already read. Painful but necessary, Clara nodded. Olivia called me yesterday. I turned to her. She did? She said Sophia's living with their mother. Somewhere up north. Quiet town. No boardrooms, no headlines, I exhaled slowly. Fitting. She's different now, Clara continued. Olivia said she's been volunteering. Keeps to herself. I took a sip of coffee. People change when they run out of excuses. Maybe she's trying to make peace. Maybe, I said, then set the cup down. But peace isn't something you earn by hiding. It's something you face, Clara studied me. And you? Have you made peace? I thought about it. I think I stopped chasing it. That's when it found me, she smiled. That sounds like something you'd say in an interview. I chuckled softly. God, I hope not. I'm done with spotlights. Hard to believe coming from the guy who just got featured in Forbes. I rolled my eyes. That wasn't about me. It was about the team. Of course it was. Seriously, I said, leaning forward. When Sophia ran her company, people feared her. My team trusts me. That's the difference, Clara tilted her head. You learned leadership the hard way. I learned humanity, I said. Failure taught me that better than any mentor. The bell over the door jingled. A man in a damp jacket entered, ordered coffee to go, and left without a word. Life kept moving, indifferent. Clara stirred her cup. You heard about Nathan? I nodded. Small consultancy in Chicago. He called me last month. What did he want? A recommendation, I said, smiling faintly. And you gave it? I did. Her eyebrows rose. You forgave him? I outgrew him, I said. That's better. She laughed quietly. You're getting philosophical. Occupational hazard, I said. You start building companies, then realize the real work was rebuilding yourself. She leaned back, watching me. You've changed, Ethan, have I? Completely, she said. Back then, you were fighting to prove them wrong. Now, you're building to prove yourself right. Her words lingered. I looked down at my hands, the same hands that once shook over napkin sketches, now steady over contracts and ideas that mattered. Funny thing, I said. Revenge gave me focus, but forgiveness gave me freedom. She smiled softly. So which one do you prefer? Forgiveness, I said. It lasts longer. We both laughed quietly. Outside, thunder rumbled far off. I glanced out the window, remembering the night 2 years ago, the rain, the fear, the way she'd sat across from me offering nothing but faith. You never asked for anything in return, I said. Clara shrugged. I didn't help you for credit. I know, I said. That's what makes it worth remembering. She leaned closer. You did it, you know, I frowned slightly. Did what? Everything you said you would. You built something from nothing. You turned pain into purpose. I met her gaze. No, I said quietly. I survived it. She nodded slowly. That's the truth, isn't it? Yeah, I said. Revenge got me started. Survival kept me going. But peace, I paused. Peace came when I stopped needing either. We sat there in silence for a while. The diner hummed with small sounds, silverware clinking, soft music from the old jukebox, the faint hiss of coffee refilling somewhere behind us. You ever think of seeing her? Clara asked suddenly. No, I said. What would I say? That I'm happy now? That she taught me how to lose? Maybe you'd thank her, Clara said gently. I thought about that, then smiled faintly. Maybe I already have in the way I live, she smiled back. You really are a different man. Maybe just a real one, I said. The door opened again, wind sweeping through, carrying in the smell of wet asphalt. I closed my eyes for a second, breathing it in. I used to think success meant standing above everyone else, I said. Now I think it means standing with them. That's a better view, she said. It is. She looked at me for a long time. So what's next? I chuckled. For once, I don't know. And that doesn't scare me. Her smile widened. That's progress. Maybe, I said. Maybe it's just peace disguised as uncertainty. She reached across the table, resting her hand over mine. Whatever it is, it suits you. I looked down at her hand, then at her. You ever regret finding me that night? Never, she said. If I hadn't, maybe you wouldn't be here. Maybe, I said. But maybe I needed to be found to find myself. We laughed softly. The kind of laugh that comes only when the past has finally stopped hurting. Outside, the rain began again, gentle this time, like a reminder instead of a punishment. I watched the droplets streak the glass and said, "Funny thing about rain," Clara raised an eyebrow. "What about it?" "It used to mean endings for me. Now it feels like renewal," she nodded. "The rain washed away the last trace of who you were." Her words echoed, and I realized they were true. That night long ago, when I sat outside this very diner soaked to the bone, everything had died except one thing, my will to start again. Now, sitting across from Clara, I felt that same stillness, but it no longer hurt. It just was. I finished my coffee, left a tip, and stood. "You leaving already?" she asked. "I have an early meeting tomorrow," I said. "A new client." "Of course," she said, smiling. "Always building," I smiled back. "Always becoming." Outside, the air was cool, the street quiet. I turned once more toward the diner window. Clara waved. I waved back, then I walked down the street where it had all fallen apart once, and realized it was also where everything began. The lights reflected off the wet, pavement like stars that had decided to come closer. For the first time, I didn't feel haunted by what I'd lost. I felt grateful for what it had taught me. The past didn't own me anymore. I did. And as I walked into the night, I knew one simple truth. I wasn't the man they tried to destroy. I was the man I became because of it.